5 fragrances that I can't recommend. Look, I'm sorry, not everything is a winner. We have our favorites. There are some fragrances that we fall in love with and we wear time after time. They're perfumes we fall out of love with. These are 5 fragrances in my collection that I personally can't really recommend to people anymore. Times change, new fragrances come out, new releases are available, and these are 5 that for whatever reason, I think I'm going to shelve. I'm not really going to be wearing them. At the end of the day, it's all subjective, but nevertheless, I'm going to share my list with you very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on these 5 fragrances that I can't really recommend, and as I'm looking at them now, some other people might still enjoy these. By all means, please wear them, enjoy them, do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, it's all subjective, and given my experience with fragrances, these are just 5 that I would say you can shelve them. You don't have to worry about them. Before I start the video, I want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content and if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would mean the world to me. So let's just go ahead and dive in with a heavy hitter. I'm sorry. This one by Yves de Sistel is called Thallium Black. Now this fragrance, well, I purchased it several years ago. I want to say 2012 or 2013. And it's this spicy, cinnamony, plum, and amber fragrance. Now for a cheapie, and I think it's like 15 bucks, 16 bucks if you look online, a lot of people will say, wait a minute, that sounds like a solid fragrance, right? Thallium Black. It smells nice, it's cinnamony, it's warm, it's great for the colder months of the year. The performance on it is lackluster, and this is one of those DNAs where I feel like it opens up in a very intriguing way, but then it kind of falls flat, right? It doesn't have that evolution that I crave, and it's not even necessarily about that. It's you can tell that it's put together in a very cheap manner, not to suggest that it's made unprofessionally or in an amateur way, but it just doesn't have that wow factor that a lot of fragrances I think should have, especially if you're looking to really impress or really turn heads or whatever the case may be. And just Thallium Black by Yves de Sistel, I mean, if you're on a really, really tight budget and you really don't want to break the bank, this is one that's going to save you tons of cash, especially if plan B, let's say, was buying a Creed or a Raja or something like that. But this one, and if this was plan A, I don't think that was plan B, but nevertheless, can't really recommend it. Now this one is a great freshie. I'm going to be honest with you. As far as fresh fragrances go, this one is actually really nice. It's very pleasant, easygoing, carefree. You can wear it at the beach. You can, and perhaps I'm just saying that because of the brand. This is Tommy Bahama. The fragrance is called Island Life. So it's a very pleasant, fresh fragrance. And sometimes, you know, that's all you need. You don't really need a huge, you know, beast mode compliment getter. This is fine, but this one, and I paid full retail. I think I bought this, it might have been a number of years ago at the Tommy Bahama boutique in Atlantic City, just off the boardwalk. This one, not very good, right? I mean, it's good as far as it being fresh, but it's very simple and the longevity on it is quite bad. I would recommend something like Nautica Voyage over this one, believe it or not. Nautica Voyage, I think is very interesting. You smell it in the air, you're like, I know exactly what that person is smelling. This one, it smells like, you know, you had 20 bucks in your pocket to burn and you went to TJ Maxx. And you know, I don't mean to cast aspersions or anything like that, because I have found some really nice fragrances at TJ Maxx and I still shop there on occasion, but there are many other better aquatic fragrances on the market. I'd rather you wear something like Acqua di Gio by Armani, given the fact that yes, it's been around for a long time. I think that one would probably do a lot better than this one, not only in the compliment department, but also in the impressing other people department. And again, I'm not saying you have to wear fragrances to impress people. It seems like I'm trying to like dodge all of the things that might get thrown at me here. I get it. It's all subjective, right? Please wear what you want at the end of the day. But I feel like there are a lot better options on the market. Anyway, hopefully you're watching this video because you're looking for recommendations, right? So nobody's going to be offended. Now, actually, let me save this one for later. let's talk about this one because I purchased this one recently from the TikTok shop of all places. And this one is called Hypnosis by Cupid Fragrances. So the thing with this one is that it's a pheromone cologne. I know as soon as I mention that, people are like, yeah, I'm not buying into it either. Okay, thank you. Now you agree with me. So this is a pheromone cologne, and basically it's infused with male pheromones. I never subscribed to that. I have spoken to countless perfumers. Every single one of them have said the same thing. It's BS, right? So you don't really want to subscribe to that. I don't think it works in that way. And as far as this one goes, I looked up the note breakdown and it said vanilla and a few other things. Honestly, it smells like berries and musk. That's what I'm getting from this one. And the longevity on it is also quite poor. Like I got maybe 3 hours from this one. So, and there's artificial coloring in the bottle as well. It doesn't have blueberries. That's not what's making it blue. So this one, again, I don't think it delivers on the fact that it's supposed to be, you know, this attention-grabbing fragrance and women are gonna flock to you. It doesn't work like that. The smell is not great, and it doesn't last. Next one. So this next one, this one I acquired many, many years ago before I even got into the fragrance reviewing space here on YouTube. This is Black Walnut by Banana Republic. So this one is actually a pretty decent fragrance. And even today, I think it's a pretty decent fragrance. And I remember really enjoying this one over Slate, and my grandmother purchased both of them, God rest her soul. And I remember Slate being the fresher one of the two with hints of tobacco, I think. And then Black Walnut was the darker one. It had a bit of an ambery, dried down. So this one I actually did enjoy. But even back then, when I was fresh out of high school and I had maybe like 30, 40 bottles in my collection, this is one that I never wore, right? And just because it didn't interest me. And so for that, I'm going to leave my criticism at that. It's not a very interesting scent profile. Doesn't smell bad by any means. It's actually one of the better fragrances on this list, but it just didn't captivate my olfactive senses, as it were. But let's go ahead and talk about the fragrance in the number one spot. And this one, I purchased it because I had a coworker way back when who put me onto this one, and I saw it in TJ Maxx of all places, and the price was great. I don't think it was sub 20 bucks. I think I paid a little more than that. And, you know, I wore it on a handful of occasions, and I said, you know what, this one isn't half bad. It's pretty decent. But given the price that you're going to pay, even if you're paying only like 20, 30 bucks, at that point, get a Latafa, get something, you know, a Middle Eastern clone fragrance, get something that will actually give you some good bang for your buck, you know? So this one is by Guess, and it's called Seductive And they had a few flankers. I think there's a red one, which is quite nice. And Guess has some other fragrances that I really do enjoy, actually. But Seductive again, it's a very fresh, masculine fragrance. Again, doesn't have a wow factor. I think I paid more than 20 bucks for it. It's a bargain bin fragrance. But again, it's not like the cheapest fragrance you'll find on the market. And I think in terms of accolades, I don't know if you're into that, but I think one would rather tell somebody, and again, this is not everybody, right? But I'm just trying to postulate what one might think or say. I think one would say that they prefer wearing something with the Dior name or the Chanel name versus Guess or Tommy Bahama or something like that. Again, that's not why I put it number one on this list. The brands don't really mean much. If the fragrance smells good, it smells good, right? But at the end of the day, I think this one didn't impress me, didn't have much of a wow factor, wasn't the most inexpensive fragrance that you can buy for the bargain bin price. That might have changed. But at the end of the day, if you're going to buy something from the bargain bins, yeah, I would recommend something like a Nautica Voyage. I would recommend, and I've been seeing a lot of like Mont Blanc, Legend, and Explorer. Even if it means having to spend an extra 10, 20 bucks, I think it's worth it, right? So again, these are 5 fragrances that I can't really recommend. Some of these I enjoyed at a certain juncture of my journey, like Thali and Black, but others, you know, I bought them just for the sake of buying them, and I was just generally unimpressed. But I want to hear from you. What are fragrances that you wouldn't recommend to your friends or family or anybody seeking a fragrance slash perfume recommendation? And I do want to kind of conclude by saying that all of these are marketed for men. So this list is intended for the gentleman. But nevertheless, let me know. Would love the interaction. I love hearing from you guys. I read every single comment. And again, if you took anything of value from today's video, drop a comment, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.